All right. Still a nation. What's happening? Welcome to the latest episode of what I like to call the knee-jerk reaction, the post-game reaction to the Dolphins versus the Steelers. And we're going to jump right into it, guys. Listen, we're going to be right back tomorrow for that. For this. We're going to be right back tomorrow for Terrible Towel Tuesday. So I really don't have to spend a lot of time here tonight. I'm just going to go through some of the key things that I noticed, and that's going to be it. And excuse me for getting up, and I had to adjust my other light. You know, I have two lights in here. This is the one over here that was too bright. So that's what I was just doing. But what's happening, guys? Hope everybody is well. Let's say hello to the quick early commenters, and then we're going to dive right into it. My guy Brent Fox was here early. He says, salute family and most of the chat. He said, I'll catch the replay, but still showing support. So we appreciate Brent Fox coming through. My guy CT Pittman in the building. Jay Minor in the building. Rajan 39 in the building. My man Y Diggy in the building. Hip Hopotamus is in the building. Real Facts in the building. He says, we have to see how we fare against Detroit. I'm confident we can win the division, but winning a playoff game is not enough for me. I want to see them go the distance. I feel you, Real Facts, but again, man, I don't think this team does that. I said it last week. I've probably been saying this the last maybe 2 weeks. Whatever this team, does from this point on will just be a surprise to me. I think the Steelers have the ability to put it together, but they just haven't, and they don't seem to do it enough for me to feel like that, right? So tempering my expectations as I've had for weeks now. Vista Light in the building. Hello, Elisa Shepard, the lovely Elisa in the building. Y'all know we got to give a special hello and salute to our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. So any of them who are in here tonight, hello, first and foremost. And fellas, make sure y'all say hello to the lovely ladies, make them feel comfortable, welcomed, and roll out that red carpet for them. Lee Sharp in the building. Danny Bingle in the building. Michael Lee is in the building. And I'm going to read your comment too. Really quick, he says, I'm still uncertain how real this team is, but as long as Tomlin can remain consistent in his decisions and the coordinators can do enough, anything is possible. I still believe Detroit beats us. Okay, and it's interesting that you say, obviously, Tomlin in the decision-making, and you said the coordinators, because, again, this is what I always say, man, each and every week. I feel like there's certain things that the head coach I look at and judge them by, and then there's things that I look at the coordinators and judge them by, and then, of course, I need the players to execute. Let's see who else is in the building. Cade is in the building. Irvin Garcia in the building. My good brother Kenyon, of course, in the building. And we'll go ahead and get started, guys, because this is not going to be a long one at all. Let's get to it. So here are my notes, guys. What up, Kev? Here are my notes, guys. I went back to the old school, and I did kind of, make notations on the first defensive series as well as the first offensive series. So the first thing I notated here, man, interesting that the Dolphins, were confident enough in their offense, and they said, all right, we're going to take the ball. Okay, and I ain't going to lie. That had my eyes glued to the TV because I was like, all right, they coming out and they going to take the ball first. I hope they don't make us pay and come out and do exactly what you would want to do, and that is to score points on your first drive. They did not. This is how it happened. Dolphins did take the ball first. Like I said, they hit the Steelers with a 20-yard play action on the very first play of the game. The Dolphins are coming in hot on the run game. They put up over 200 yards rushing last week, so everybody's expecting them to run. Even the commentators said so, and they hit us with a play action. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Break tendency and don't be predictable. So I got a little concern right there. But again, as the drive went on, the Steelers are able to get off the field on the very first third down. So I call it a gentleman's 3 and out, if you will. They give up one big play, and then following that, they get them out in 3 plays. And on that third down, it was very good pressure. And there was some good coverage by number 24. And guess what? I may give him his name back tonight. Stay tuned. But good coverage by number 24, good pressure on that play, and Herbig saved a big play on second down. If you guys remember that was the play where Achane, I think that's how you pronounce it, is Achane. Okay, yeah, because they were talking about it on the broadcast. But anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about. Remember, that was the play when he kind of went to the right, hurdled. Herbig was down on the ground, and he still was able to get up and kind of trip him up. And absolutely, that saved a huge play because I don't think there was anybody else really on that side. And with Achane's speed, my goodness, who knows what that would have turned into. So I wanted to highlight Nick Herbig on that play. Outstanding play right there. The next thing that I wrote here, the Steelers, they start with the play action as well, but we only gained 1 yard. So the Dolphins come out with their play action. They hit us for 20 plus. We come out with a play action on first down, and we only are able to get 1 yard. Right after that, the Steelers run the ball with Gainwell on second down, and we gain 1 yard again. And then right after that, Gainwell was stopped short on a 3rd and 8. I think it was just a quick dump off to him. And the Steelers do what? Yes, what they have done at the wrong time. I'm not going to say what they do best because, again, this Steelers offense, although it's been inconsistent, it has been better as a total. The totality of the offense has been better this season in terms of points and scoring on drives and things like that. But I will say they did what they do at the wrong time, and they go 3 and out because that's the worst situation. I'm sitting there, my wife and my son were watching it, and I'm explaining to her, I said, that's the worst case scenario, right? The Dolphins feel like they're going to get the ball and play with a lead. We get them off the field, and then the worst thing that you want to do after that is you go 3 and out to give them the ball right back. So at that point, I'm like, all right, it's going to be one of those nights. Right after that, shout outs to Asante Samuel Jr. Let's give him a round of applause. Shout outs to Asante Samuel. And before I read that, let me just say, round of applause as well to Angie, a.k.a. Baby Steeler. I appreciate the Wonder Bread. I didn't see it in real time, but I see it now. Thank you so much. And my bad, if anybody else, I don't see it, but if anybody else has dropped some Wonder Bread, please forgive me if I didn't see it, but thank you. And also thank you in advance for anybody who may do it and I miss it. So let's get back to it. Yeah, Asante Samuel, shout outs to him, man. He, came in, great time, at a very great time. He gets that interception, first interception as a Pittsburgh Steeler. And I will say this, I'm going to keep my eyes on how he plays for the remainder of this season, however long it is, because again, Asante Samuel, was basically a free agent. I wonder if the Steelers would be interested in doing business with him for the future. Again, the Steelers are always grabbing guys who are veterans, right? Why not a younger-esque veteran and not a Darius Slay-esque veteran? Because, they seem to do that every year. They go get an old guy. Why not maybe see if you can do some business with Asante Samuel? Clearly, his market isn't high. And let me just check something really quick, man. I don't believe, let me check. Asante Samuel can't be much more than 20? Yeah, he's 26. He's 26 years old, man. His birthday is in October. Why not do business with a guy like that, right? Why not do business with a younger veteran? So let's see where that goes, man. And it's good to see him out there playing some meaningful football post his injury. So it's very good to see that. So yeah, there you have it. All right, so the next notation I have here, man, Tomlin chooses, I'm going to read this. This is like a paragraph here. Tomlin chooses to go for it on 4th and inches on the Steelers' second drive. In Steeler territory, we're able to pick up the first down. Rodgers hits DK Metcalf in the middle of the field, I might add. Can you believe it? In the middle of the field, and Rodgers seen it, a nice throwing your guy open. He threw the ball to where Metcalf was going to be, hit him in stride for 20-plus yards. Tomlin then goes for it again on 4th and 3, and Rodgers was able to find Kenny Gainwell for first down. But then the Steelers give up a sack on 3rd and 11, which takes them out of field goal range. And I wrote here, the only good thing about that, the Steelers put together a long drive, guys. That drive was 13 plays, 7 minutes and 54 seconds. Wow. At least that's what it said on NFL.com. So if they had the stat wrong, forgive me. But yeah, they had it listed as 13 plays, 7 minutes and 54 seconds. And this is what you hear me talk about all the time, guys. We got to be an offense that can sustain and put together long drives. Now, ideally, you want to come away with points, but even if you don't, it is very helpful. Not only does it take time off the clock and it keeps the opposing offense off the field, but it also allows your defense to rest, which is key. It allows your defense to rest. And that's invaluable. All right, so next thing I have here, Jonnu Smith was called for holding on a huge run play by Jaylen Warren. And then Rodgers ended up getting sacked on that drive. It was 3rd down again, and the Steelers were forced to punt. So 2 times in a row, guys, a penalty and give up a sack, killed drives consecutively, and the Steelers had to punt. And I just did not like that sequence. Again, this was all pretty much most of the first quarter, first half. It was pretty much most of the first half. The offense was really just stagnant, right? Not much happening. Their offense wasn't doing anything either, which kept us in the game. And eventually the Dolphins would go up 3-0. But, I was telling my wife, it's going to come down to whatever team I think can really take a decent lead. Like, I'm talking like go up 10, go up 7. The way this game was going, I was like, this could be one of those slow games, and, 7 points might be enough to get you to win. So all of a sudden, the Steelers in the first half with another long drive. I don't remember exactly how long it was. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, guys. Just so we can have, let's see if we got it. Hold on, give me a second, guys. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it because it was significant. It was absolutely significant. Here we go. That drive, and the Steelers scored. This can't be right. This can't be right. Can't be right. But the NFL.com says it was 20 plays. I don't think it was 20 plays, but either way, it was a long drive. 4 minutes and 54 seconds, and the Steelers are able to score right before the end of the half. And I've notated here, that was pure perfection. Perfection. You get the ball back with about 5 minutes, 5 minutes and some odd seconds left. You put together the long drive and you leave the Dolphins with just 17 seconds left in the half. You cannot do it better than that, especially knowing that you're going to get the ball to start the second half. So what happens after that? Here's another paragraph notation I have here. The Steelers come out and score to start the second half. Rodgers was able to find his boy, MVS, on a play action pass and for a touchdown, and the Steelers defense come up with a 3-and-out on the very next defensive series. Ramsey ends the drive with the sack. It was good to see that. Steelers come down and score again with the pass to DK Metcalf. And I wrote, what a zip on that pass, because, Rodgers had to put it in there. Looks like at first glance, it looks like they were in maybe a cover 1 situation with a robber, because that number 21 almost got there, and it looks like he was lurking in the middle of the field. I got to see the film to make sure, but I'm pretty sure they were in a man situation. Because I remember when they came out, if my wife was here, she'll tell you, I was like, oh, they got DK already. It was a favorable matchup, just the way that the alignment was. And lo and behold, they end up finding DK on like a quick slant, maybe a skinny post, and what zip put on that pass. But even better, the catch and run by DK Metcalf. He's just showing you know, he was playing to his size and skill, if you will. So that was a beautiful thing to see right there, man. Like I said, nice to see Aaron Rodgers able to still zip the ball in like that, split second decision. And again, it's a game of inches. Number 21, can't remember the kid's name, but he was this close from getting there. But if Aaron Rodgers is not able to zip that ball in there, it's not a touchdown. And then, oh my goodness, DK Metcalf just does the rest. And I think he actually got Minka a couple times tonight, man. I count at least, twice that Minka just got tossed on the ground. But hey, I still love Mink, man, and I hope he's all right, man. I know he went out the game, but you know, it is what it is, guys. At that point, it was 21-3, and I literally told my wife and my son, I said, look, I think the game is over at this point. You know, the way this game is going, I think this game could be over right now. The Dolphins are not going to come back and score very quickly, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But then the Steelers force another 3-and-out right after they go up 21-3, and they go right down and score again with a toss play to Jonnu Smith. What? I mean, just insane. Just insane, man. Insane. So, great play call, I guess. You know, I got to give Arthur Smith some credit. You know, it looks like they did enough, you know, little things to get things going. And that was a play call for the ages right there that he pulled out that I don't think we've seen that all season, where it's literally a toss to Jonnu Smith. I mean, you're just not thinking that's going to happen. I got to go back and watch the formation, but I know Donnell Washington was out there because he was throwing a block, as well as Adam Thielen. I'm not sure if there was another tight end on the field, so I'm not 100% sure if we were just in 12 or if we were in 13, but nobody's expecting a tight end, when two tight ends or possibly three tight ends on the field, nobody's expecting a toss to the tight end. So what a play, man. What a play by Arthur Smith. Got to give him credit there. And what was very interesting, man, the Steelers scored on 4 straight drives, touchdowns, not field goals. 4 straight drives, they scored touchdowns. So that is something that we have not been accustomed to seeing. I can't remember how long back. I want to say it was Troy Aikman or Joe Buck. One of them said, had it been like 20 years, something crazy. But what an outstanding showing, man, by the Steelers in the second half. And I got to notate this as well, or at least let you guys know I notated it. Huge punt and a great down by Skoranek essentially ended that game, right? And I know the Dolphins went on and they scored a few points. And guys, let me just say this real quick, then I'll get to the chat. I understand why teams do it. You guys have heard me complain about this, about the Steelers quite often. I understand why you do it. I just don't like when we do it. I don't like when we just play soft and going more into like a lax defense and allow the team to just drive all the way down the field and score and just get these meaningless touchdowns. And I know it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things when you're up by as much as you are. You know that you just play the time game. It doesn't matter if they get a couple of scores, we're still going to win. I just don't like seeing it as a fan, if you understand what I'm saying. I would rather not see them get these garbage time touchdowns. And we talk about Mike Tomlin's time management. What in the world was Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins doing? Like, they took all day to run those plays and get those touchdowns, and then you're going to try to do onside kicks, and then you're going to try to use your timeouts. For what? That was baffling. I did not understand the lack of urgency that they showed. It definitely seemed like that they just gave up. But then when it really doesn't matter, now you're trying to make it look like you're trying to be competitive. But like I said, as a fan watching the game, I just hate seeing those meaningless yards and touchdowns when we have been holding them down the entire game. Just the whole game. I just hate seeing it. But it's all good. It's all good. Didn't bite us, didn't come back to hurt us, anything like that. So it is what it is. As far as stats, guys, let's look at that really quick. The Miami Dolphins, Tua ended up 22 for 28, 253 yards, 78.6 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, and we got 4 sacks on him. It was good to see Cam Haywood being effective and getting some sacks off tonight. Alex Highsmith, I think, was getting really good pressure, as did Herbig. Herbig did some nice things as well. But again, a lot of those yards there, guys, was just meaningless yards. Meaningless. Let's go to the donation really quick. Thank you for the Wonder Bread, my guy, James Webb, or J Webb. I appreciate it, brother. He says, facts, Sim. DBs did play off still a heck of a lot. How do you think we can build off of this game? Well, I'm going to talk about that here in just a moment, man. That's how I'm going to wrap up the show. I will talk about what I think they can possibly do going forward and what they can build from. So I'll definitely get to that here in a moment. Listen, Achane only 12 carries for 60 yards, which, you know, not too bad, a 5-yard average, no touchdowns. And that was it. The Steelers held the Miami Dolphins, who rushed for over 200 plus yards last week, to 63 yards. 63 yards. I think we was doing our thing. We was doing our thing defensively in most of the game. Again, it didn't happen until the end. Didn't happen until the end. The Dolphins got 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. You understand what I'm saying? And the first touchdown in the fourth quarter came at 9 minutes and 48 seconds left. The last touchdown came at 2 minutes and 38 seconds. They literally did nothing the entire game. The entire game. So that's why I just feel like, I just hate seeing them getting those meaningless touchdowns, man, when our defense played an outstanding game through 9 minutes and something seconds left in the fourth quarter. But yeah, that's all I got. And like I said, man, what essentially ended that game was that nice punt placement and excellent downing by Ben Skoranek, man. I love guys like that. Y'all remember how much I talked about Skoranek last year, saying that he's just a guy, man, that just makes plays when we need him to, you know, and being a special teams demon, you always got to have guys like that because those plays are significant and they show up, and I'm going to give those guys recognition for when it happens. But in terms, guys, of what this means for the Steelers, and oh, yes, he absolutely did. I just peeked at the chat. C. Brown, game well played, great tonight, man. And, you know, before I sell us short, let's take a look at our statistics. You know, you see I put Aaron Rodgers there in the thumbnail, and that is part of where I'm going to go, kind of similar to what Jay Webb said. Let's get to our statistics here. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 27, 224 yards, 85% completions, an average of 8.3, 2 touchdowns. He did get sacked 3 times, but hey, man, Dylan Cook played a relatively decent game as well. Kenneth Gainwell, man, 13 carries for 80 yards, 6.2 on the ground, and a 38-yard long. Jaylen Warren didn't have to do as much. You know, he was dealing with an illness, but he still was playing hard as well. You know, he ended up with 33 yards on 12 carries. And then Jonnu Smith, man, 1 carry of 14 yards for 1 touchdown, obviously. And even Caleb Johnson had not got in there and got a couple of carries, man, 2 carries for 4 yards. But the Steelers rushed for 135 yards, 32 attempts, and 2 touchdowns. I will live with that. On the receiving end, nobody had to do nothing crazy. DK, 3 for 55. Gainwell, 7 for 46. Fryermuth had a big one down in the fourth quarter. 3 for 45, and Darnell Washington, 3 for 25, and then Valdez-Scantling, man, 1 for 19. You know, nothing crazy, but again, Aaron Rodgers passed for 224 yards. Asante Samuel with the interception. Patrick Queen again, man. Patrick Queen, 10 total tackles, 9 solo, 2 for loss. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, yeah, man, the Steelers, they played well tonight. They played complimentary football on both sides of the field, both sides of the ball, rather. So let me just get to what I think the Steelers can build from this. Listen, I'll think a little more on it tonight as well as I rewatch the game, hopefully by tomorrow before the show. But listen, man, whatever they do from this point on is still just going to be a surprise to me. I have not seen us do it consistently enough to think that anything special can happen. However, look at the thumbnail. Aaron Rodgers is playing pretty good football right now. He's a veteran. He's motivated. And listen, our offense, we've seen the offense capable of producing 25 plus points in a game. We scored 4 straight touchdowns. This offense, against a pretty solid Miami defense, was able to perform. This offense against a turnover machine in the Miami defense didn't turn the ball over. Our defense playing against a pretty high-powered offense at times held them in check, was able to stop the run. And we know they lean heavily on the run. So, listen, man, I don't know how we fare against other AFC playoff teams, but you get into the dance, anything is possible. But like I said, I just don't see it yet, guys. I just don't see us play. I haven't seen us play consistently well on both sides of the ball enough to believe we're going to do it against teams where we're going to have to do it. The test, another good test, of course, will be going out to Detroit. Man, if they could go to Detroit and somehow come away with the win in Detroit, then that might be a sign of what they're capable of. But also, again, guys, if they go lose out there, I'm not going to be surprised because, again, I'm not going to get too high on this win. It's good to see them win 2 games back-to-back that are games that I would say one of them was good to see you go to Baltimore and win. This one, even though Miami was hot, this was kind of like, all right, you got to win this one, right? And what is it that you guys are going to say? Did Tomlin have them ready to play? Right? Y'all, when we lose, y'all say he don't. But are you guys giving the head coach credit? I will give him credit tonight for, going for it as many times as he did on 4th down. See, those are head coaching things. Those are head coaching things. I think he managed the game well tonight. And I think Arthur Smith pulled enough stuff out of his bag, just being multiple with his approach. Some of the quick game action was happening. They were able to find a run game. And defensively, man, I can't say what we did from a schematic standpoint, but yeah, we doused them. we doused their flame out pretty quickly. Yeah, and that's not a problem, Hip Hop Artemis. I laugh at the people who don't continue to say that, right? I respect those who just are tired of Mike Tomlin and you want to see something new. I fully respect that. What I laugh at is the people who flip-flop every week. So that's who I kind of just make fun with and, make a mockery with. But, yeah. Good job tonight by the coaching staff. Greater job by player execution because, again, it comes down to that for me. And I saw some really good blocks. I saw guys like Dylan Cook doing what he had to do against Chubb. And, yeah, Aaron Rodgers playing good ball. So whether we win or lose, I still put most of the emphasis on player execution. And I put a decent amount of emphasis on coaches, play calls, and head coach managing the game throughout the game. So there you have it. But all right, what you got, guys? Really quick, I'm about to be out of here. Anything? Yeah, I don't expect much, hip hop. I don't, man. I don't. I've been telling y'all that for weeks. Again, whatever this team does as far as winning will be a surprise to me. And it's just that simple for me. Jay Webb says Detroit has a stationary QB who uses middle of the field. Scary for us, but they can be schemed against. Okay. Does 24 get his name back? Okay. Yes. Tonight, JPJ. I will refer to him as Porter Jr. or JPJ again because guess what? He didn't get any penalties tonight. And there was a couple times that he made some good plays. He was in position, excellent coverage on that first drive. A nice coverage down the stretch where he almost came away with a deflected interception, if you will. So yes, for now, he has his name back. If he starts acting like a penalty machine again, I'm going to strip that name once again. But as of tonight, Joey Porter Jr., you have earned your name back, sir. Keep balling. Keep playing the way you're playing. And that's what we want from you. All right? But all right, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. Mark says, looks like AR is in charge of the offense. Cool, calm, and collective. Yeah, man. Aaron Rodgers, it looked like, that's all we need from him. We don't need him to throw for 400 yards or 300, 350. We don't need it. I'm cool with what he did tonight. Making the right plays when he needs to, making the right throw, finding guys is, throwing to the middle of the field when you see something. That's all we need out of him. We do not need him to be Aaron Rodgers of 10 years ago. And it's just that simple. Hippopotamus says, we also need to remember that, yes, pressure is key for pocket passers. We need the DBs and defensive coaching scheme to stop gaps from forming. I get what you're saying, man, but regardless of how you scheme it, the players got to pull it off. Because there's only a couple things you can do on defense. You can play man or you can play zone. You can play your zone a little tighter or a little looser. But ultimately, the players have to pull off whatever it is that we as fans say needs to be schemed. People always say, man, we got to do something better to stop the middle of the field. Yeah, there's things that I suggest, but it's not as easy as it looks. Man, we got to stop them from being able to throw outside the numbers so easy. Yeah, I'm thinking it's things that I think you could do, but it's not as easy as it looks. Right? Because look at what we do to teams. You see what I'm saying? It's a cat and mouse game, man. And sometimes, players just got to play, man, But yeah, the coaches can't do obvious dumb stuff like sitting in soft coverages over and over and over and over. That is coaching and philosophy. So fully agree with you guys. Agree with you on that, hip hop as well. Yeah. Thank you. We eye to eye on that. The players got to play as well, but definitely the coaches are responsible, man, for at least drawing up a plan and putting guys in position. I'll read this last Wonder Bread. First of all, thank you, and then I'm going to be out of here. He says, Rodgers can't take the sacks on the hard field next week. Continue to check down and keep drives alive. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let that veteran stuff come out, man. You know what I mean? Be a veteran. I will read this last one here. Still 56 says, Detroit have studs at skill positions. Gibbs, St. Brown, and Williams are hard to stop. They are going to have to score and put up 30. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, man. Listen, Detroit's offense, that's why if we lose, again, I am not sitting here today saying, oh, they tried. Guys, I don't expect them to be able to hold down a team like that. That's why I'm saying if they go in there and find a way to win, it'll make me perk up a little bit like, Plus, Detroit has stuff to play for, right? So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So... But all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here, man. Love y'all so much. Y'all know the routine, man. Listen, if you haven't already, if you like the content, hit that like button. If you really love the content, subscribe to the channel. But last but not least, which I should see most of you guys tomorrow, but I'm still going to tell y'all, until then, Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay healthy. I say God bless. I say good night. And like always, I thank each and every one of you all for tuning in. I shall catch you in the next one, which in this case should be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.